Many people think escaping North Korea is impossible, but a 19-year-old girl named Ji-yoon Park proved that not only is it possible, she managed to escape twice. When she was a child, Ji-yoon witnessed the painful death of her uncle from starvation. That was the moment she realized something was deeply wrong with her country. People were dying from hunger, yet they were forced to worship their leader like a god. She had spoken with her father about escaping, but he collapsed from hunger before they could act. His final words to her were, "Save your brother, and run." Ji-yoon and her 14-year-old brother set off from the border town of Hysan. On a freezing winter night, they reached the icy Yalu River. Freedom was just 25 meters away, but then, gunshots rang out. Did they make it? And why did Ji-yoon have to return to North Korea a second time? In response to escapes like hers, North Korea struck back, with balloons. In May 2024, North Korea launched hundreds of balloons filled with cigarette butts, dirty clothes, and contaminated soil into South Korea. These trash attacks triggered health alerts, disrupted Incheon Airport, and mobilized special forces. South Korea responded by reactivating giant loudspeakers near the DMZ for the first time in 6 years, broadcasting messages of freedom and real news deep into North Korean villages. But by 2025, escaping from North Korea is more dangerous than ever. Defectors and even their families face torture, imprisonment, or execution. Education and job bans are placed on their relatives. Still, there's a spark of hope as North Korean soldiers are being deployed to Russia. Some believe that by seeing the outside world, these soldiers might one day choose to walk away from the regime. Ji-yoon and her brother, with bullets flying around them, managed to cross into China. They found shelter at the first house they reached. A Chinese farmer welcomed them with rice and eggs, far from what they had imagined about poor China. But the safe haven quickly turned into a nightmare. The farmer threatened to turn Ji-yoon in unless she married him. And her brother? He really did call the police. The teenager disappeared, and Ji-yoon was sold into slavery. She worked long, harsh days, with barely any food and no hope until she realized she was pregnant. After immense struggle, she gave birth to a son. For 5 years, she and her child were passed from trafficker to trafficker in China. One night, while returning home, Chinese police arrested her right in front of her little boy. With her son crying, Ji-yoon was sent back to hell, a North Korean political camp. A place where dozens of women sat in pitch-black rooms for hours, backs against the wall, forbidden to move. When her left leg swelled and started to rot, the guards thought she would die, so they sent her to an orphanage. But 3 months later, she was still alive. And this time, she was determined to escape again. With the help of a human smuggler, Ji-yoon and a small group crossed the Toon River into China once more. But even in Chinese territory, danger lurked. Many locals would betray defectors for reward money. Eventually, they got into a taxi. Ji-yoon was the only one who spoke Chinese. The driver grew suspicious and began questioning them. She tried to stay calm and told him the two men were her father and uncle. But did the driver believe her? Would Ji-yoon finally reach freedom this time? Let's call him Lee. That morning, the sun hadn't risen yet. Lee, inside a border outpost, moved with quiet steps and sharp eyes, executing his escape plan. He knew everything: the minefields, the guard shift times, even where the thermal cameras were. But there was one thing he didn't know. How lucky was he going to be? He started running. Slipped past the barbed wire, spotted an active mine just in time, and froze for a second. But he didn't stop. The guards noticed. Gunshots rang out, and Lee ducked behind a rock for cover. One bullet grazed his arm. But there was no going back for Lee. With everything he had left, he sprinted and threw himself across the border. And right there, South Korean soldiers ran toward him, shouting, "Don't move! Hands in the air!" For the first time, Lee felt what freedom tastes like. Now, he's under special protection. His name, face, even his voice are kept secret. But his story proves something powerful. Escape is still possible, if you're brave enough. But how many can really be like Ji-yoon or Lee? How many have the courage, the chance, or even a path to flee? As long as North Korea's regime stands, every escape is a miracle. And maybe one day, we won't need these stories anymore, because no one will be imprisoned again. Lee was a loyal officer in the North Korean army. His job? Guarding the DMZ, the heavily armed border between North and South. A place where one small mistake can mean instant death. But one foggy night, Lee made a decision. He was going to escape. A choice fewer than 1% of North Koreans ever succeed at. With nothing but a survival pack, he crawled into the danger zone. 18 hours, crawling through brush, mines, and flying bullets. 12 shots were fired at him, not one hit. And finally, he reached South Korean soldiers. But most don't take that path. Why? Because the DMZ is a death trap. So some turn to the sea. One man, let's call him Choi, built a makeshift boat and fled via the Han River. 5 kilometers through deadly currents, toward a South Korean island. And he made it. At the same time, another man tried. But he never arrived. Most likely caught. Or killed. But there's another path, through the war in Ukraine. In 2024, North Korea sent troops to Russia. They put on Russian uniforms and were deployed to Kursk, right into the war zone. For some, joining the army is their only ticket out. Whether through the thorny DMZ, the deadly sea, or the chaos of Ukraine's front lines. Escaping North Korea always means risking death. But for some, it's the only way to live. Because when you run from death, every step becomes a story of courage, hope, and survival. Lee, Choi, and thousands more have proven. Even in the darkest places, people can find the light of freedom. But this is just the beginning. The story of escaping North Korea isn't over yet. The question is, are you ready to hear what happens next? Maybe we'll never truly understand the pain of hunger, the fear of death, or the longing for freedom. But stories like Lee's and Choi's remind us, freedom isn't a privilege. It's a rare gift. And as long as there are people risking everything for just a taste of it, we have a duty to be their voice. If this story moved you, stick around. Because this was only the beginning.